Hello everyone, Rob here. So this channel is just starting out. This channel really doesn't have a theme. It's really just me expressing my thoughts on whatever comes to mind, whether it's history, a little bit of gaming, fitness, whatever. I'm going to try to avoid things like politics as much as possible, not because I'm not interested in politics or current events. I find it absolutely fascinating. One of my main loves is history, and really I just see current events today as history taken to, well, its logical conclusion. This is, everything that happened in the past leads up to today. So, the reason why I'm not getting involved in history, or not getting involved in politics or current events, is really I just don't need the stress. I'm of the political persuasion that is not particularly popular. Alt-right people don't like me. The left certainly does not like me. And I just don't need streaking jerks from either side of the political, from either political extreme coming after me. So I'm really going to try to stay away from that sort of thing as much as possible. That being said, sometimes one is confronted by a statement or an event of such magnificent stupidity that I have no choice but to comment on it. So, yesterday, Howard Dean set out a tweet, and I have it right here. Hate speech is not protected by the First Amendment. This guy was almost president. Okay, everybody? This guy almost made it to the presidency of the United States. That's terrifying. Alright, let me explain it. Let me break this down for you. Hate speech is most certainly free speech. Now, I could just end the video right there. That's all I have to say on this, but let me break it down a little bit further. Now, there are many different arguments as to why hate speech can be considered free speech. Okay, but first we have to define what is hate speech. It's a completely arbitrary thing. Now, I know some people are going to put out some sort of a dictionary definition. Hate speech is any type of speech that disparages a certain group or certain ethnicity and certain whatever. It's hateful, bigoted rhetoric towards X group. Okay, and I mean, racists and sexists and bigots, those people are a bunch of assholes. I'll flat out tell you right there, that's why the alt-right pretty much hates me. The issue is, though, people still have a right to be an asshole. You have a right to do so. If anything, that just makes it easier for me to avoid these people. Oh, you're a white supremacist? Okay, I don't want to associate with that jerk. Same thing with the control left. It's impossible to be bigoted against white people. Okay, yeah, I'm not associating with you either. Oh, yeah, everything you have in life is because of your white privilege. Okay, screw you. Black people are ruining society. Screw you too. You're all a bunch of idiots. Leave me alone. The problem I have with this idea that hate speech should be banned is who gets to decide what is hate speech. Is me giving an honest criticism of a particular individual, say, is that hate speech? Just because that person is of a different race than I am, or a different gender, or a different sexual orientation. A legitimate critique, is that hate speech? Well, some people might say it is, and that I'm only saying this because of my privilege, or whatever the buzzword of the day is. And that's why the far left doesn't like me either, because I find the whole privilege argument to be a bunch of BS, but that's another matter for another day. Now, I'm not going to get too far into that particular argument. That's really secondary to my main argument here. And my main argument is not who gets to decide what is hate speech. Again, that's arbitrary. Anybody can just decide that, oh, what this person said to me, any kind of criticism against me or against this group or against anything is hate speech, which is utterly ridiculous, but that's not my argument. There are others who can explain that far better than I can. My main argument is that by banning certain types of speech, you're giving proponents of that particular ideology, you're giving them more ammunition. Now, say what you will about the alt-right, they're a bunch of jerks and I hate them. They're, anybody who says that one race or ethnocentrism or anything like that, that's a bunch of BS. Anybody who puts that much stock into ethnicity is, you're an idiot. But alright, so now for the past year, 2 years, speakers like Milo Yiannopoulos, Ben Shapiro, Steven Crowder, Christina Hoff Sommers, every time these guys try to give a talk on a college campus, it gets shut down. I mean, really, you're terrified of Ben Shapiro? I mean, the guy's what, like, probably the most non-threatening person on the planet. Well, actually, unless you're debating him, in which case he'll crush you like an insect. But beyond that, though, he's nothing. Like, these people are not going to actually physically hurt you, and they were shut down. Now, if you had done nothing, and just let, Ben Shapiro or Steven Crowder or Christina Hoff Sommers, if you let them talk, they would have spoken, to an auditorium of what, a few hundred people, maybe a few hundred, maybe a few thousand of their followers would have watched them on YouTube or, Facebook or whatever it is, and that would have been the end of it. I mean, their entire ideology would have been limited to those people. Well, when you try to ban it and you light fires and you try to stop that speech, you now have them trending on Twitter. Okay? There's memes now that are plastered all over the internet. You know which one I'm talking about. You know which one I'm talking about. Actually, there's several of them, but there you are. What would have been a non-event is now a major issue. Congratulations. You just made them that much more famous, that much more popular. When you try to silence someone, what you're really saying is, this person has a really good point, and I can't refute it. If their points were so terrible that they can be refuted easily, what are you worried about? Almost every one of these talks has a Q&A session. If someone posts something on the internet, there's a comment section. You can rationally, calmly, just refute their points with facts, with logic, with hysteria. Without hysteria, sorry. You can just as easily just completely destroy their argument with your own speech. So that's the point of free speech. It's the dialogue. It's the open marketplace of ideas. You put out your opinion. I give out my opinion, and we let people decide. Really, that's how it is. And if your argument is terrible, that's on you. You came up with an argument that sucks. Don't try to suppress what I have to say. So if you really are interested in shutting down guys like the far right, like the alt-right, or if you're on the far right and you're trying to shut down guys on the far left, use reason, use your words, use rational, logical arguments. Don't use ad hominem attacks. Don't use hysteria or appeals to emotion. I mean, we're kind of getting off topic here, but it's all related. But most importantly, don't try to censor the other person. See, here's the thing. Sunlight is the greatest disinfectant. I want to see someone's ideas. If this person really sucks, their ideas are really terrible, I want the world to see what this person is, what this person believes, what they really think, and I want the entire world to know what their opinion really is. If it is truly abhorrent, if it is truly hate speech, the world now knows. And not taking a soundbite taken out of context, or an offhanded remark, that somebody said 20 years ago. But long-form debate speech is the greatest single source of democracy, of freedom, of liberty than there ever was ever. It cannot be arbitrary. It cannot be based on our own personal feelings. That's just it. There you go. Oh, and another thing. Look, I'm a small government libertarian type. My default mode is I hate the government and I want them to be as far away from me as possible. They can run the military. Yeah, you can pave roads. Fine, go ahead. If you start micromanaging my life, I don't like you. So all you big government types, if you want to ban hate speech, you're going to have to get the government involved. A lot of people who are pro-hate speech laws, pro getting rid of hate speech, you are aware that Trump's in charge now, right? I mean, so if the government has to enforce hate speech laws, it's laws that Trump agrees with or are set up by somebody that Trump appointed. Think about that for a moment. Just putting it out there. Yeah. That's pretty much all I have to say. Again, I really don't want to turn this too much into politics, but I think I just unleashed the hornet's nest. Yeah, have a good day. Or don't. You're all adults. Do whatever you'd like with your life.